The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy. Greetings and salutations, listeners. I, Eric J. Chucci, joined as always by the Jables to my Moro Ronaldo, the boy.
Hi.
And tonight we actually have, I'm not going to call you David Otunga because that's a little mean, I think, but he is a David.
Hello, comrades. I am the one known as the Beardman.
We mentioned him a couple times on the podcast. He runs Game Master Problems.
I will try to remember to link it in the description, but it's me, so...
It's not like I've posted on it in, like, a year.
Well,
so,
yeah, I mean, but there's the archives to look through.
There is.
Just like you could look through our own archives and listen to previous podcasts here on YouTube.com.
I do it when I'm bored.
We literally have hundreds of hours of programming.
Yeah, dude, it's nice. We do this for free for you people, because you don't pay us. You could through our Patreon, link in the description.
Smooth.
I'm full of it tonight. You would think that if we were going to have our dear friend and now roommate on the podcast, it would be, at least for the first time, a role-playing podcast. That's what we always talk about.
That's what I always talk about. It's like my life and stuff.
But no, this is WWE's No Mercy in the year of our Lord Cthulhu 2016.
Because, well, this pay-per-view doesn't require a lot of comment, so we thought we'd bring in a fresh perspective.
And let me tell you, listener, there was no mercy during most of this because it was awful for everybody.
Oh, why? Why did I bring you on, you pun lord?
So, also, I like puns. Just fair warning.
Just so the listener has a frame of reference, exactly how much experience with the world of professional wrestling did you have until you moved into this house?
I played the WW something, I don't remember, video game when I was in junior high. It was on Nintendo 64.
Oh, so the good one.
I remember liking the gold dude. I think his name was Goldust.
Oh, Goldust is amazing.
Because he was gold, and then I was told I couldn't like him by my friends because he wasn't Rey Mysterio Jr. and thus was gay. So...
I mean, he was... Like, that was his gimmick. He was pretty gay.
He was kind of gay.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, well, I mean, like, now...
He was like Gay Panic, the character.
Okay. I just liked him mostly because he was gold and fancy looking. So.
I love Goldust, so...
He's also an incredibly talented
wrestler.
Other
than that, I watched SummerSlam this year and, like, one other thing.
Guess why?
Because I live with them, and it's on the TV. And there are cats down here that I like to pet, and it was on the TV.
So, when we say a fresh perspective...
We mean that literally.
Yeah, it's not just like we're bringing in a ringer who's a wrestling expert. No. This is the layman of the World Wrestling Federation entertainment.
We're the mirror universe internet smarks, in that, like, well, at least I tend to hold opinions counter to theirs in a lot of situations. And so do you, and at least one we're going to talk about tonight. And so we thought we'd bring in the actual, like, just everyday watcher of wrestling, sort of. And
I take it back. I did have one other experience with wrestling. Evidently, I made a Dean Ambrose poster that went on the front ring of, like, a Cash in the Bank or something. I don't know, whatever the fuck it's called.
Dollars in my account.
But one of my friends who I play cards with knew I drew pictures sometimes and told me to draw Dean Ambrose / Mankind, I think.
3 years ago?
Yeah, no, it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. So Money in the Bank 2014, if you see a Dean Ambrose sign in the front row, that's our friend.
Yeah, well, it's not him. He made the sign.
Well, no, I drew it at a comic book shop with some Sharpies.
I recall when you came up to me, we worked in the same place at that time, and you were like, is this? And I was like, close enough.
Good enough.
But, yes. So, let's get this rolling, because God, I'm tired. We actually started the show for some reason with the WWE Universal Mega Championship of Doom.
No, this is just the World Championship. This is the normal one.
I know. I wasn't talking about the strawberry title. Which was Dean Ambrose, John Cena, and AJ Styles in a triple threat, no disqualification, no rope breaks, no countouts, no mercy match.
Oh boy, this match was well wrestled and entirely predictable.
Also, I just want to point out, AJ Styles was the only one wearing a costume. The other were wearing just clothes, which is boring.
I'd like to disagree with that. Although, as I said at the time, John Cena sort of is a costume at this point.
Like his just clothes, he's been wearing them so long, and they're so exactly the same always that it's kind of it's a meme now. He wears jorts.
It's 2016. There are no other shorts, kids. John Cena's the last one. His Rattatas in the top percentage.
Yes, Youngster Joey. I did like how Youngster Joey, the wrestler, stacked the other two on top of himself because he's so big. I just wish he could have, power slammed both of them at the same time while they were stacked.
That's the dream, right?
Well, he's done it before.
Sure, but not today.
This time. He didn't get to adjust all the attitudes.
No.
I did enjoy the quantity of smacking another motherfucker with another motherfucker in this match.
There was a lot of that.
Because that was delightful.
John did a lot of that. He hit motherfuckers with other motherfuckers a lot.
Honestly, and this is funny, because, listener, you know me. You know my distaste for John Cena is storied and long. Until he started fighting AJ Styles, in which there was a greater evil. And I started looking at his Instagram, which is so full of, sadness and batshit that, I don't know, it's very enamoring, I suppose. But typically, and listen to our podcast if you don't believe us, we've noticed when John Cena was about to lose, because he throws a fit and he doesn't wrestle well. He was the workhorse of this contest. AJ Styles did his 3 AJ Styles moves that he actually does very well.
AJ Styles is a spot monkey.
He is.
He's just a spot monkey.
He's never
Why is he
been.
so popular?
I don't. It's because he reminds people of their mom. You gotta love your mama. Mr. T said so.
Mr. T, Brodus Clay, everybody.
I do also want to point out, Dean Ambrose was mostly just there for most of the match.
Yeah, he just sort of got in the way.
Except during the bullshit portion of the match.
Yeah. Where he left.
Yes.
Decided to leave. We're probably going to talk more about this. It was a quality match. 20 minutes of your time, well spent. The remainder, I can't say so much for. But watch it. It starts the pay-per-view. Just turn it on and enjoy it.
The bullshit portion was they did a thing where both of the two of the guys locked the third guy to submission and the third guy tapped out. Now, for at least 30 years of wrestling history, if the guy taps out and 2 people of the triple threat win, then they both win, and then you do a storyline where they're sharing the title.
I can cite Eddie Guerrero in China with the Intercontinental Championship, I believe.
Yeah, there's shit from the 80s. There's shit it is well-established canon that the rules of the wrestling match are that.
It's a thing.
Yes.
You do the thing.
You do the thing.
In Game of Thrones, you don't have people.
The thing.
You don't have people pull out machine guns in Game of Thrones. You make the rules for your universe and then you follow them.
It's not like Ned Stark put his head back on and went, "What now, motherfuckers?" If you have hired actor man Sean Bean to be in your film, he dies, and that's it. Unless it's Silent Hill, in which everyone else died.
If it makes any sense here, too, listener, I, being uninitiated to wrestling, immediately called bullshit, and I didn't know the rules. So,
because that's clearly horseshit.
Well, and I offered a third option than the stupid one they took, and the one that's traditional, where the ref goes, "Okay, he tapped, that part of the match is over, now it's just you two. Have at it."
Well, it's a triple threat match, so you can't really do that. What you can do is have him tap,
Except
have
that
him
the ref
call,
can.
do some confusion, and then have Shane or
Sure.
Brian come out and be like, "No, we can't do it. You tapped out. You're out. You two continue the match. It's a singles match now." Or have those two wrestle again at the end of the night to decide, because it's in dispute and they can't end the pay-per-view with it in dispute. Then you move on, have them do the actual main event as a singles match. There's a million and one options that don't fly directly in the face of 30 fucking years of wrestling convention.
Yeah, I mean, look, am I salty that AJ Styles is still a champion? Yes. Did I expect it? Yes. But there are so many other ways you could have done this. It's like the last pay-per-view that SmackDown did. Even to a lesser extent, the last pay-per-view that Raw did. There's so many ways you can do what you want to do, accomplish what you want to accomplish, have your pieces or your people where you need them to be, that isn't dumb. That doesn't, there's a difference between swerving somebody by being unexpected and flying in the face of conventional logic, internal consistency. If one match has the referee yelling at the wrestlers to not use closed fists and get down off the top turnbuckle, then all of the matches need that unless they're hardcore rules or something.
Or unless you're trying to characterize your refs to have different personalities, and the WWE patently does not do that.
No, well, except for Sad Eyes Ref and Really Into Things Ref.
But, that's those people.
Yeah.
They don't have a character, that's just those humans. One of them has sad eyes, and the other one's super into things.
So the Demon AJ Styles still reigns supreme because John Cena has shit to do.
It'll happen. 16 times is coming.
And Dean Ambrose is not interesting enough because he wears jeans and a tank top, for God's sakes.
He used to look cooler. Completely
forgettable. I forget about him. The only reason, listener, I now remember where he is because there is Bayou Satan plus him /fic on the internet, and it's delightful.
I'm not explaining who that is because, one, you should know, and two, we'll get there.
But this was a solid match. I'd say it's hard to call between this and another match later, but this is a contender for my match of the night.
Yeah, it was a good match.
Other than the stupid
even if I hate the finish, it was a good match.
Yeah, it was
the
really
wrestling
fun.
was good. It was impressive.
It was very entertaining. Good way to work up the crowd. I don't know. I wouldn't have turned this card upside down the way they did.
I don't know that you follow it with the match you followed it with.
With the rest of the problems the card had, I would not have pushed this to the opener.
Well, they couldn't have, known beforehand.
Because
this was set as the opener a couple weeks ago, and the thing that really shit the bed on the pay-per-view was a match that wasn't supposed to happen until tonight.
I guess. But anyway, we move on to the next match with Carmella and Nikki Bella for no reason.
I'm sorry, by the way, did I get into a fucking time machine? Is it 2012 again? What was this Divas match doing on my show?
Carmella tried. She did a really good job.
She did. The Ghetto Barbie really tried. She went for it. She was trying. The other one just kind of stared vacantly while she was in a chokehold for half the match.
Which is how she's made her money.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. That's about as good a Nikki Bella match as you're going to get. She's fucking terrible. They both are. I mean, they always have been.
Look, they're no Alicia Fox. The Bellas, that is to say.
No, they don't scare me, but that's not the only goal for a wrestler.
Well, but, I mean, I'm glad Carmella had a bit of a showcase. I wish she would have won, but for whatever reason, the WWE Universe really likes Nikki Bella.
She has a show on E!
I guess.
That's why. Total Divas was super. It gets huge ratings. It gets better ratings than Raw. And now it's Total Bellas. It's just literally just the Bellas because it's the only people in Total Divas anyone give a shit about. For some reason, the portion of their audience which likes, the Real Housewives of Madison County or whatever. I'm pretty sure I mixed a metaphor there.
It's fair. No, let's just move on from there. If it wasn't clear, Nikki Bella won.
That match was terrible. Absolutely, god awful. Possibly the worst wrestling I've seen. And I mean, I've watched some doozies in the 3 months I've lived here.
It's not been a good 3 months for pay-per-views, listener.
I've asked them multiple times why they even do this thing.
So then I showed him Chikara and a little bit of the CWC, and he was like, "Oh,
it's good."
Occasionally, it's pulling a roulette wheel.
Sometimes you get amazing storytelling. Sometimes you get
the TV Tropes podcast.
Oh,
one view, listener, and it's me.
That hurts. That idea had merit. We failed. Legs. We failed the idea.
TV Tropes failed us.
That's true.
By giving us the 5 worst tropes we've ever encountered. We should have done me.
You want to listen to a train wreck? Go watch last week's episode.
Speaking of train wrecks, no, I kid, because this was actually okay, just boring. Heath Slater and Rhino versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships.
The Usos had really cool shoes. They were neon and amazing.
Neon
They
yellow.
also
I even think they
did
look cool.
The thing that I hate, they wore regular clothes, including beige shirts.
Featureless beige shirts. No icons, no graphics, just a literal featureless, literally the most boring t-shirt you can make.
Which, of course, was part of the gimmick. As you well know, Ultimo Dragon, you having been a seasoned ring veteran, they're no longer fan favorites. They're not going to put logos on their clothes. They're not going to sell merchandise. They're going to dress like assholes with amazing shoes.
Because they're assholes with amazing shoes. We get it, but to someone who's not invested in them and their progression as characters, to someone who's just coming in, how does that come across?
See, it's not even necessarily that. I'm watching wrestling because I know it's fake, gasp. And it's
real to me, damn it.
A show. This is a show. This is supposed to be spectacular and over the top. You don't wear like the Kmart version of Kanye West's collection into the ring. You wear like, I mean, even Heath Slater had like fancy pants on, and like, I mean, Rhino's a square, so he's not even a real human shape. Like, you don't wear boring shit that my dad has in his closet that isn't even like dad clothes.
If they went full dad clothes, I think it might be better.
Right. Like,
No,
like Kiss the Cook apron.
Then we get into Kerwin White territory, and that's not a good idea.
That's true.
But I mean, I guess they did some fun wrestling. Rhino had a really cool gore outside the ring. And it was like, I mean, I made burritos during that. It was boring.
It was a snooze. I mean, like, the Usos did really well. I really liked them as heels.
I love Heath Slater's gimmick. I live in a universe where before the pay-per-view, we were talking, and I was like, no, Heath Slater's not boring. He's great. And then I had to stop and, like, cast my mind back.
Yeah, right.
A year and change. And I'm reliving the Nexus thing. I'm literally reliving the Wade Barrett Nexus thing. Another member of that stable has won me over.
Well, I don't know that Heath Slater was ever boring. It's just that he was never booked well. He was always booked to be annoying and obnoxious.
And he's good at it.
I mean, he's good at it, but not good enough to make me want to smash his stupid face in. It's just sort of like, okay.
He's Vicky Guerrero good at it.
I see, not even. Like, it's...
You're right, he was entirely...
I see your little song and dance. Please stop.
Move along, sir.
I know where this is going.
I have a soft spot for wrestling rednecks that are fancy and shit.
I got kids. I need this job.
Exactly. I mean,
we're getting a double line.
Since I started watching, I joined a e-fed that
the listener should know about.
The listener should know about. And I made a delightful, flashy wrestling redneck who is everything Heath Slater and AJ Styles should ever be and aren't. I mean, his ringside girls have like red, white, and blue bikinis and horse masks.
It's America.
It is.
It's the rusty, out in the backyard part of America.
Exactly.
But Heath Slater and Rhino retain. I think that's smart. I think it was an okay match to get the Usos heel gimmicks over more prominently than they did last pay-per-view. Honestly, if the last pay-per-view didn't exist and this one was just the do-over...
This better.
It's better, but it's not... It's bad for different reasons.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a rerun when I walked back in from making burritos.
I thought we already saw this match. They changed clothes?
It was confusing.
But yeah, so that moves us along to... I don't know why this match is happening.
If it weren't for the Divas match that showed up earlier tonight, I would say this was the worst match of the card. Baron Corbin versus Jack Swagger. I like Jack Swagger.
I forgot this match even happened.
We literally just finished watching the baby.
Yeah, this is occurring at 12:47 a.m. Monday morning.
I like Jack Swagger. I like Baron Corbin. This match was dog shit.
I think Baron Corbin's overrated.
I don't.
He's got an okay look. And not necessarily by the universe, but by somebody. Somebody somewhere likes Baron Corbin a lot more than they should.
An okay look. He'd have a better look if he was bald.
He's got an okay look. He's got an okay gimmick. He's got an okay, ring skill.
To be fair, he'll get there in about 4 months, I think.
I give him a year.
Before he completely loses the rest of his hair?
Oh, that.
It's thinning. It's really thin.
It's making its escape.
I mean, it was making its escape from this bad match. Just saying. It was awful. And then Jack Swagger has this weird singlet thing on that, like...
Jack gained a few pounds.
Not cute at all, and put the tum tum on prominence.
Well, and for the sake of our dear compatriot here, I'm gonna pull up some pictures of what Jack Swagger usually wears
and what he used to look like
back
when he wasn't clearly checked out because the WWE doesn't care about him. Because they clearly don't.
I mean, look, that singlet's so much better.
It is, and
that's nice. He's got stars.
Yeah.
There, he likes America.
I mean, that's cute, but now I'm looking at a visual medium while we're recording an audio podcast.
You can look. We are the most professionals on the internet.
So professional.
This match was like 7 minutes. We've almost already given that much time to it. I feel like we move on now. Yes, everyone?
Yeah, they
it
focused.
Was 7 minutes and should have been 2.
They focused on Jack Swagger's hand.
Like Baron Corbin was working the fingers,
which is a unique idea,
and I think it's unique for a good reason.
Yeah, it didn't play well. Nobody really liked it. The house was full of booze. Other than that, they just sort of punched each other, and not in a very entertaining way. Baron Corbin went over by cheating, I believe.
I don't even care.
Yeah, so there you go. Baron Corbin goes over, and Jack Swagger continues to lose matches. Speaking of people who continue to lose matches.
Speaking of people who never win matches, Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz is our next match.
The Miz had on the best coat ever. It was delightful and looked like pharaoh armor.
He often has really good coats.
The dude is just...
And then had like a stupid hood and dumb glasses and did not work the best coat ever, which is a crime.
I disagree. I think that coat did exactly the job it was supposed to do.
And then his wife.
Name
is, his wife, okay, had on a really bad ice skater outfit. I know they're supposed to be like fancy and stuff, but come on, guys.
Nah, dude, I like that outfit. I honestly did. It's a better Emma Frost than X-Men First Class. Just put it out there.
My mom in white sweatpants is better Emma Frost than X-Men First Class.
That's fair. That's fair.
I bring the fire. This match was really technically very good. However, as you may remember from last time, I don't care.
You don't believe in Dolph Ziggler, and you actually hate The Miz's current gimmick.
I just, because it's so all over the place, because, this is the way The Miz's gimmick goes for me. It's boring and bland, not even really working being a heel, and I criticize that. And winning matches for unknown reasons.
That happened one time.
Twice. It happened twice that we're not sure why he won, and they were both pay-per-views because we don't watch the week-to-week shit. Then he started actually working the heel stuff okay.
He has a really good thing building with Daniel Bryan that I'm hoping will lead to a Daniel Bryan one-off match.
I doubt it.
Daniel
Bryan is also hoping. Every
doctor but the WWE doctors has cleared him to wrestle.
Yeah. So, it's hard to, having watched this build, it's hard to be into The Miz, because how many matches did he escape? Multi-man matches. Oh, The Miz wins. When you've got 5 other talents in the matches who are better, who would be more interesting champions. And look, I get the wrestling psychology behind it, and it's clearly working for some people because the audience was really into it, but I'm not. And especially against Dolph Ziggler, who has lost every match he's ever wrestled since he was born. It's okay, either you swerve me and that's expected and Dolph Ziggler wins, or you don't and that's expected and Dolph Ziggler loses. And The Miz wins, because that's what The Miz has been doing for the last X months. I don't know. It just takes all of the momentum out of it. Maybe if this had been like, oh, Miz is on a hot streak recently, or even if Dolph Ziggler hadn't been losing forever and was on a bad streak recently, that might be better. But at this point, it was just like, look, it's predictable either way. And that's stupid.
I don't know that you can quite say it's predictable either way. Every match is predictable either way. One of them's going to win.
Well, but narratively predictable. You know what I mean? It fits the narrative so well that neither outcome is surprising. You know? Like the opening match.
But both outcomes are appropriate.
Sure.
Like, both would work. I don't know that that's bad. I don't know that that's a bad thing.
I don't know that it's bad either. It's just it didn't sell me. So, like I said, clearly the arena was totally into it. There were chants.
Let's go to our tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Beard, how did you feel about the match?
It was technically very good. It was cool to watch. Like, they did some fun moves, and it was neat.
A man lost a shoe.
Yes. The Miz did take off Dolph Ziggler's shoe at one point, which was delightful. That was very entertaining. And took place over a way longer period of time than was, like, neat. And it just went into comical, and it was very fun. Let me sum up the match. Dolph Ziggler had pink pants. He did cool moves. The Miz also did cool moves. And then cheated, and the ref called him on it. And then he was like, but why did you call me on it? I don't... And then they did some cool moves at each other. Then the Miz cheated, and then the ref called him on it. And he's like... And then he took off Dolph Ziggler's shoe. And I mean, it was entertaining-ish, but like, I don't care about either of them because I don't know either of them, and neither of their gimmicks are that good. So,
and I think maybe he's keying into something that I've been missing because I'm so entrenched in the industry as it is. And I think it's also something that you're keying into for the opposite reason. It is a really, really, really clean babyface versus heel gimmick that doesn't really have anything else going for it.
No, it's super archetypal. It is the bad guy who does the cheats and is a coward versus the hardworking, overcomes adversity good guy. This is wrestling 101 booking.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what we're missing here as someone coming fresh into all this. You guys are entrenched in this. You guys have grown up with this. You guys are fans.
Yeah, all accurate things.
Neither of these two wrestlers, I mean, they did the cool moves. They did the stuff. But as someone coming into this, I'm coming into this to see a show. I'm not coming into this caring who has a 40-win winning streak or whatever, or a losing streak. I'm coming into it expecting to see a cool match, but also expecting to see characters. And there aren't characters happening. Yes, he has, like, The Miz has his angry wife who yells things from the sidelines, but they're not interesting. Like, New Day is interesting. And I love them. They're fun to watch. They have bootios.
Yeah. I think that's another sort of... Because
Swamp Devil is interesting. Bayou
Satan is really interesting.
That's another sort of thing to think about, you know, narratively, from a sense of fiction. Because the new banner against, you know, wrestling's not real, right, is, well, neither is Game of Thrones, and you watch that.
Yes, I do.
Right. So to that extent, you know, it needs to follow up with, all right, well, why do you care about that man and that man? Who are they? What informs us of their characters?
I care about Joffrey getting his dick kicked in because Joffrey's literally the worst. I care about Cersei because Cersei is simultaneously the worst and, like, somehow the best. Why do I care about Dolph Ziggler? What has Dolph Ziggler done to invest me?
And
I think that's what you guys are trying to get across.
Well, and I think that's the problem, is because he's been on his losing streak for so fucking long.
Honestly, since 2014.
Nobody remembers anymore.
He's just a loser.
Why do we like Dolph Ziggler?
You guys had to look up what his finisher was.
Yeah. We didn't know.
He hasn't done it in so long.
We didn't know. I didn't know it was a super kick. Did you, Ultimo?
That used to be a signature. Okay, that got moved around. Zigzag used to be his finisher. His signatures were a super kick and a Fame-asser.
Well, and now, for a while, his Fame-asser was his finisher. For a while, a sleeper hold was his finisher.
he's just like, and the super kick's a better finisher for him because he's essentially just Shawn Michaels. So
It's like Shawn Michaels and Billy Gunn kissed a lot and had a baby, and I think I saw this fan fiction too.
hey,
But yeah, I think that's a lot of it. This is, you can give us vignettes and you can show us The Miz being an asshole, but beyond...
He wasn't even that good at being an asshole, though. This isn't like going back to the
incorrect. He's one of the best working heels in the business.
He keeps saying that, listener. I don't think those words mean what he thinks they mean.
Listen, as the High Queen of All Shade, there was a slight graying of the atmosphere coming out of his mouth, but it was not that good.
Well, and I will tell you what the other thing is here that perhaps the crowd is getting that Beard isn't, that the boy isn't, but for some reason is still way into it, and that I'm not. The reason The Miz is bad is because he's mean to Christ reborn Daniel Bryan. If you are mean to Daniel Bryan,
you are double Satan.
You are the worst and deserve to die being trampled to death by 100 Samoans.
No. People who love Daniel Bryan hate Samoans now, remember?
Oh, that's right. So being trampled to death by 100 AJ Styles.
AJ Styles.
And
100,
one Rhino.
100 vanilla midgets.
So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot going on where...
I love that because he has cut some amazing fire shit against Daniel Bryan.
I'm not going to say he hasn't. It's not been, like, his consistency across the board hasn't been as good as I would have liked. He's sometimes way too cheesy and hammy and not in the right way.
I don't know that I agree. I like when he goes cheesy because it makes him undercuttable. He's not supposed to be a monster. He's a heel because he's a fucking nerd lord.
Well, and that's and when this match ended, and surprise of surprises, Dolph Ziggler not retains, he wins. So he doesn't lose his career, and he has the...
Which should be fair. Career versus...
2 minutes into the match, by the way.
Yeah.
He said his career was on the line. I was like, okay, they're not getting rid of him. Clearly he has a fan base because there were signs.
Well, and here's the thing,
he's
because...
super over. Has been for years.
Even though he never wins. They'll do that. They'll like, oh yeah, he lost his career, and then like he takes a vacation, or 2 weeks later...
He's gone 6 months, and then he... buys a ticket to the show, hops the barricade, attacks the Miz.
It's like in comic books where because you died, it doesn't...
Nobody stays retired. Nobody stays dead except Uncle Ben. And shit, that's not even true anymore. God, I hate you, Joe Quesada.
I do also want to point out, in the background of this match, someone was holding up a sign that said, "Remember Harambe," which was delightful.
Yes.
And we should remember Harambe. Always.
But
John Cena does every time he tries to sell a movie.
Yeah, John Cena.
He always looks sad.
The spirit of Harambe.
Harambe, man.
Speaking of Harambe, and looking sad, the best part of selling his heel gimmick that I've seen from The Miz in months was him being so sad after he lost his title.
Like, very sad.
But it was that kind of pathetic nerd lord sad where it's like, I have no sympathy for you, you wiener.
He's just like, he's actually pouting like a 5-year-old.
And that was the best selling I've seen in a while. And I'm sure they're going to go back and forth with this because The Miz and Dolph Ziggler are friends. And of course they want to be married.
They're really close friends in real life, actually.
So, yeah. But it was a good match.
Yeah, I get to watch more non-interesting pay-per-views.
Well, maybe they'll kiss.
Okay, I'm down.
Hell, I'd be down. I still have dreams about Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, and I find neither of those men attractive. We move on to what was supposed to be our women's championship match. But Becky Lynch...
Caught the herp. That's the joke they couldn't make because it's a PG show.
And so we got Harley Quinn versus Glozell.
Alexa Bliss came out, cut a pretty damn good promo.
I love Trash Panda.
I love Trash Panda too, and said that she'd fight anyone in the back, basically.
Me and Spork looked at each other and went, so Nia Jax? Both forgetting that Nia Jax is on Raw.
Yeah. Naomi came out, which I'm excited about. She's a little rough around the edges, but I still love seeing her in the ring. I liked Jeff Hardy for a long time, and clearly some other people do, so no accounting for taste.
Interesting foreshadowing of this. My E-Fed wrestler has 2 scantily clad women wearing horse masks, and the boy earlier this evening made a comment to me about the Fabadactyls. Funkadactyls, thank you.
I suggested he use them.
Playbys for them, and then this happened, right after we'd had literally 3 hours after we'd had the conversation, which was delightful. So I was able to make a reference and get it right, which was sweet.
Yeah.
Also see some sweet blacklight moonwalking and stuff. It was awesome.
Yeah, I love both of these wrestlers. I was really glad I got to see that match. Was not happy with the crowd. This match was only 5 minutes and 25 seconds because the crowd hated
They
it.
clearly called an audible, too.
Yeah.
They clearly
because
called
she
an audible.
won on a roll-up after the crowd had been booing and chanting, "We want Becky" for too long.
Look, I get it. You like Becky Lynch. I like Becky Lynch, too. Please stop shitting on the people trying to put on a show for you. Stop chanting CM Punk. Stop it, you ungrateful dickweeds.
It was a fun match. They were doing really good work. They were working off each other. They were doing neat moves.
And to be fair, Naomi didn't start getting shaken until the chants kicked in.
They threw her off her game because she's actually super over usually.
Yeah.
The fans are they're children. They're spoiled brats. If you don't give them exactly what they want, they shit on the entire show.
Yeah.
AKA what we're doing right now.
No, if I'm at a live show, I play along.
Well, I will pick a character and stick with it. But you pour your energy into the show. You don't pour your energy into combating the show.
If you want to be the guy who cheers for the bad guys, be that guy. Be loud and cheer for the bad guys because that will rile up the people around you.
Who want to cheer for the good guy.
But if half the crowd starts doing it, no, dude, you're just shitting on the product. Stop it. Why are you buying tickets to a show you don't want to watch? That's it. Why are they buying tickets to a show and then going and sitting on their hands and booing?
To be fair, this was a late audible call. This match was not the one they were advertised.
That's fair. That is entirely fair.
I can understand why they'd be upset. But this is not an exclusive thing. See Roman Reigns. As much as I don't care about him, boy's right. He got shat on for no good reason. Or for hyped up, drummed up, stupid reasons. But regardless of all that, when you're at a show, we talked previously about JBL shouldn't be shitting on the talent. He called them boring. He called them uninteresting. And
he fucking stopped, too.
Yeah, he did stop. Because of all the things you want to say about your talent, that's not it.
Talent can say that about each other. If you're an announcer, if you're involved, you shouldn't say that about the talent.
You're trying to hype them up. And that's part of the audience's role. Do you have the right to go to the show and be an asshole because you paid for a ticket?
Yeah,
sure.
Of course you do.
But it still makes you an asshole.
You have the right to be an asshole. I'll defend to my dying breath, and I am not being hyperbolic, your right to be a complete douche nozzle. But I'm also allowed to call you a douche nozzle for doing it.
Fair.
Naomi surprise defeated Alexa Bliss, like we said on the roll-up.
And then Alexa Bliss threw a tantrum. It was delightful.
It was
best part of the match.
Oh,
her hair bows flew out. She was flipping shit and kicking like a 5-year-old.
It was the best.
Which she's approximately the size of.
Yeah.
She's apparently 5 feet tall.
I mean,
I'm looking that up. I want to see if that's true.
Hobbit Harley Quinn was delightful.
As always. I'm always happy to see her. Always happy to see Naomi.
5 feet 1 inches.
Yeah.
So
but it was fun. She was yelling at Naomi a lot. So hopefully there's a rematch because that would be fun.
Yeah.
It would probably be a good match even if the crowd is shit like they were for this match.
I think on an average week, on an average show, if they were expecting this match, they would have been more behind it. But
honestly speaking, the crowd was loud the rest of the time. They chose this match to be the match they wanted to shit on tonight. Not fucking the Bella versus, not the Divas match from 2012 that showed up. This match with talented people in it.
Just because it wasn't what they paid for.
This is honestly probably I would maybe say the third best match of the night. And there were 2 really good, technically good matches earlier that were fun.
I'd say 4 just because I really liked the main event.
Okay, I'll give you that. But I'm going first fight, last fight, this one.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. Because you didn't give a shit about the Dolph Ziggler Mason match at all.
Right, at all. I mean, it's tied for third maybe. But there was some dreck throughout the rest of this that they should have been silent and booed for.
Yeah, Baron Corbin versus Jack Swagger.
Which they were not happy about. They did boo that match.
Or,
rightfully, in that case.
Awful Divas match earlier. That was awful.
Yeah. The audience and us, we go round and round. But
Or, the really boring tag team match.
It was...
Yeah, because I can understand if you shit on the program when you're just getting a bad match. That's worth... I understand booing that. Why are you booing a good match because you're salty about it?
Yeah. The pacing was great, and
they clearly called an audible and cut it short, but...
and the match was an audible in the first place. But anyway, let's move on to our... not actually our main event, but the match that went last, which was Randy Orton versus old Spooky Time Johnson.
So, I want to point out before this, they did some really amazing, like...
Cool video stuff,
like American Horror Story kind of, like, neatness with, like, rocking chairs and rooms and, like, creepy
smoky
cuts and smoky shit. And then...
Oh, God. I fucking forgot about this already.
There was the point where, I can't remember his name.
Randy Orton,
the guy I wasn't rooting for this match, looks in a mirror and, like, someone got real happy with the Photoshop warp tool and made the noise. And it was, like, the worst of, I don't know, 1970s Z-horror. Man, it was bad. And then they just cut right away to something else.
And just, like... What the fuck, guys?
Now,
from what I understand, the build for this match has been really cool.
That was just a weird little spot. And here's the thing. When you're doing a mirror gimmick in wrestling, it's risky. All parts have to be on the same page, okay? When Hulk Hogan saw, I believe it was the Ultimate Warrior in the mirror in WCW, and the announcers are talking about how Hulk Hogan sees the Ultimate Warrior in the mirror, but Eric Bischoff can't see the Ultimate Warrior in the mirror. What? When I want to say a good example was in Ring of Honor recently. I forget the wrestler who was involved, and I'm sorry, I don't really follow Ring of Honor, but Kevin Sullivan appeared behind a dude and was like talking to him like a shoulder devil. Well, it pulled out and it showed he was actually there, not just a ghost man in the mirror. That's a good one you do. It's a neat reveal because at first you're like, yeah.
For whatever reason, people always go, it's like trying to invade Russia in the winter. Wrestling writers keep having the same idea. We'll do a thing with a mirror. It's a good idea. And then they do it. Oh, it was a bad idea.
Well, okay, look.
We'll accept undead necromancers, zombie bikers. We'll accept burned alive dudes who shoot fire. We'll accept literal wizards. But the mirror shit is too far.
Well, and you know what? First of all, it's not always done poorly. But, again, the announcers were like, wow, that was really weird what happened to Randy Orton in the mirror. Oh?
You saw it too?
We all saw that? Does Bray Wyatt have Photoshop powers over mirrors? Is this what you're selling me on?
To be fair, it makes sense for the character of Bray Wyatt. If they're saying that Bray Wyatt caused it, because they've sold Bray Wyatt as supernatural before.
Sure.
He fought a guy with a smoke monster once. Mm-hmm. He disappears all the time.
Sure.
He once brainwashed a children's choir into fighting John Cena for him. This is not...
Really?
Yes.
It was amazing.
I love Bayou Satan.
Bray Wyatt
my favorite now.
Is the reason we got back into wrestling and started this podcast.
Oh, good.
I've been trying to convince Wyatt. I don't think we've actually told this story, have we?
In snippets, perhaps.
I've been trying to convince Wyatt to do a podcast forever, because I listened to a bunch of them. And I thought, we're funny guys. We can do it. We have stuff we want to talk about. And the hundreds of hours of programming that we put forth kind of was maybe a little right.
If you like the two of us coughing phlegmily into a microphone, you'll love the Two Nerds podcast.
Hey-o! So, but it was Bray Wyatt and how amazing he was, and Wyatt wanting to talk about that eventually was the last straw that convinced him to actually go forward and do the podcast. That's why our first podcast is Extreme Rules.
Yes.
But anyways, this entire pay-per-view, I've been seeing this delightful Bray Wyatt being creepy and saying he's the alpha predator and people in awesome sheep masks. And, I really dig that stuff. And it was sweet. And then there was this mirror bit, and I was really, really not happy about it because it didn't even have the same, like, sepia tone the rest of the spots had. It was just, like, a random, like,
oh my
we
god.
need to fill 10 seconds of this. Okay, let's use the Photoshop tool badly.
No, you're right. If it had been in the fucking sepia filter, it would have been fine.
Right.
I don't even know about that.
I mean, it would have been
better.
It would have been less egregiously bad.
Marginally, yes. If it was that and there was like film grain all over it, then sure.
But then we get to this match, and it was delightful. And, like, I know these two like both of the people in there. I know that whatever his name is like a Voldemort Snake Man sometimes. I don't know. He wasn't, so I didn't care. I cared about Bayou Jesus, who is Satan, and whatever he is, and his delightful, like, Fireflies entrance, and he bent over backwards, and he was creepy, and I love him.
And that's wrestling in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah, dude, you never know what's gonna bring you in.
No, yeah.
Sometimes it's the honky tonk man hitting Hulk Hogan with a fucking guitar. Like, it's just whatever catches your eye, whatever brings you in. That's why it's important to have varied characters and not a forest of mid-sized white dudes who do all the same moves and look kind of wirily muscular.
Sorry.
There you go.
Something in my throat.
So, like, it's these varied characters, these varied archetypes are all really important. You know, honestly, I talk about Roman Reigns a lot because I feel like the guy gets an unfair shake. He's far from my favorite current wrestler. My favorite current wrestler on the roster right now is probably Shinsuke Nakamura because he's absurdly charismatic. But the best new talent that I've seen is Ember Moon. Ember Moon is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Ember Moon does a top rope spinning Stone Cold Stunner as her finisher and has red eyes. Ember Moon is fucking amazing. And we don't get Ember Moon unless you have a varied cast of characters, unless you're willing to take a little bit of a risk. Sometimes when you take a risk, you get Randy Orton in the mirror.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you take a risk,
you get Bayou Satan.
You get The Miz.
No. Alright, The Miz might be one of the best working heels, but I don't think taking a risk could be described in anything but pushing The Miz.
I'm sorry. They didn't take a risk, and we got The Miz.
Exactly.
They took a risk some 10 years ago, and we got The Miz.
Yeah.
Former real-world reality star Mike Mizanin used to do promos like he was The Rock, calling himself The Miz.
On the real world. He would stand there and go, "Can you smell what The Miz is cooking?"
That's what his whole Hollywood is. He's a reality show star.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago. He's had like 4 gimmicks since then.
His reality show thing is that he's been in a couple movies.
Yeah, he's actually done a couple WWE films. But the whole joke there is, and again, something I forgot to talk about earlier when we were talking about dissecting characters is, his movies aren't very good, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, that's the reason he's a bad guy. He acts like a movie star, and he stars in WWE Films productions. And he starred in The Marine 3.
Because they couldn't get somebody who was ever in The Marine 2.
John Cena.
Yeah, so...
I mean, honestly, he did do one really good thing.
He took a shoe.
No, he was a chicken and got beat up by Colonel Sanders.
That's true.
Yet another chapter in the Dolph Ziggler The Miz feud.
What weird chapter.
The best chapter.
So...
The shark that was jumped.
I talked about this last pay-per-view. I've been talking about it since it's been building, but Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton, somebody has to win unless you guys are idiots, and we've learned from the first match that that's a possibility. But on one hand, Bray Wyatt, if he were to go over, you get Bray Wyatt a win, which, good God, he needs one. But on the other hand, Randy Orton...
could kind of use a win after getting double murdered by Brock Lesnar.
But on the other hand, it's Randy Orton who wins, and
Randy
Wyatt,
Orton is a top-tier talent and has been for like 5 years.
And he's on his way south.
He's a made man. He's probably the best he's ever been, but he's reaching...
I don't know, man. He was the best he's ever been last time.
That's true. I haven't seen enough of him this time.
He's just not been performing to snuff. I say part of that's the gimmick. He's not going full snake, and every moment he's not full snake, there's a little Jocelyn there for you. Every moment he's not full snake is a moment wasted for Randy Orton. But
yeah, he's at his best when he's a fucking snake man.
End of the day, Randy Orton had Bray Wyatt right where he wanted him. The lights went out and blah, 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 blah.
And Charles Manson popped up right behind him. And it was great. And it was the culmination of the best promos I've seen on wrestling so far and the best spots and whatever. It was beautiful. It was a thing of just delightful beauty when Charles Manson popped up behind him and scared him so Bayou Satan could win.
To someone who doesn't know who Luke Harper is, I wish I could sit there and live through that and go, what the fuck, Charles Manson?
What the fuck, giant Charles Manson?
Like, it was what happened.
Because that's what Luke Harper's giant Charles Manson.
His promos are so good.
Because that's the thing. Bray Wyatt is a Waylon Mercy homage, who was based off Cape Fear. It's Luke Harper who's channeling Charles Manson. If you hear him cut a promo, he's Charles Manson. Like, he not only looks like him, as Beard so rightly pointed out, he fucking talks like the guy.
Of course, Eric Rowan channeling Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
And a sheep mask.
Really?
He has the hardest working booty in wrestling.
Hardest working booty in wrestling.
They put him in a unit. They put him in, like, janitor overalls, and that ass still works.
He's a dumpy fuck with a ginger beard and a bald head, and he sounds like Lenny from Of Mice and Men, but it's like hams, little hams in the back.
Saving for Google later.
But yeah, Bray Wyatt goes over in a big reunion with Luke Harper, and this was a show that had some really good wrestling, some really awful wrestling, and a cavalcade of bad decisions. And one really good decision that is trying to turn me into giving the show anything but a C rating.
Like, I would say the main event, the strength of the main event alone, brings it up to at least a B-.
You would.
I would also go B-, but that's mostly because I don't hate The Miz as much
as you do.
I feel like they threw a bunch of shit at the wall and enough stuck that they were like, good, we're gold, we did it, we made a show.
Which is probably what they did, to be honest.
Yeah. It just was not as well planned as Raw pay-per-view has been so far. Period.
Yeah, like, I don't know if there's much else to say.
Well, there is one thing.
Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Yeah.
Fuck it, let's get hardcore!